Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, welcome to the back office Teardown Lab. Today we're going to be unboxing and looking inside an Ouya! Free the games. This is an Android video game console, one of the first successful Kickstarter campaigns, and we're going to have a look inside it, frankly. Just to show you the box while we're at it. Obviously it's quite nice, quite pleasant, and a little bit of graphics on the back. Tells you what's inside the box. Look, some Final Fantasy things. Nothing too exciting, just telling you about how you can download the games directly, and it runs on 1080p HD, which isn't really a fancy thing these days. And so begins the revolution. So you have a controller, which is quite nice. It has a touch screen area, and the main unit itself. So let's start on the controller first, because it's one of the more interesting things. To get to the batteries, you actually pull apart these panels. Quite stiff. And you can see here they've actually got screws attached, and these screws go over corresponding magnets. So they're actually held on with magnets. So if you see this, you can see it just sort of snaps into place. They're very heavy. Clearly some nice metal work has gone into this. It's some sort of pressed aluminium and anodized. Batteries. There are your 4 buttons, your D-pad and 2 toggles. And on the top, 4 shoulder buttons. And there's something really weird here, because we know this is a touch screen, but this big panel on the front is a very odd looking thing, really. It makes it look as if there's an infrared or something in there, and I'm pretty sure there isn't. But as we're here, should we have a quick look inside? Why not? So we'll need our trusty screwdriver. Let's zoom in, have a better look. Here we go. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. And oh, look, the magnets, you can see how magnetic they are. They're really grabbing the screwdriver out of my hand. Oh. Actually, I'll just pop the batteries out as well in case there's, yes, and there's screw holes under the batteries as well, as I expected. Very firm, actually. I can hardly undo these. In fact, my screwdriver is starting to round there. Interestingly, look, there's a debug port there. That's probably for after manufacturer reprogramming of the unit. So that's the one. Oh, I tell you what, these are taking some serious torque to undo these. So the Ouya was a bit of a failed console, and the primary reason for that is that they had a closed ecosystem. So they're trying to compete with all of the other games manufacturers. You know, if you think of your Xbox and PlayStation, how those games are quite a lot more complicated than the sort of games you get on Android. And then expecting Android users to sort of pay for them in a similar way without access to all the Google Store and all the usual things they're used to having, didn't really fare too well for them. And conversely, if you think of devices such as the Nvidia Shield, who've done it right, you know, by not, they've got their own stores, but they're not really locking the users into that. I've done a lot better, because I always think this would have been great, for example, if I could just download my usual apps to it and use it on my telly, like a tablet. But, oh, right, okay. So I've lost my screws that are in here because they've actually jumped and attached themselves to the magnets underneath. So I have to make sure I grab those in a moment. Right, so I've undone the screws that I can see. We'll just feel our way around here. Prizing, probing. Is there some magic? Ah, okay. Looks like there's a panel here on the front. If I can, yeah. Work my way around it. If you've got a spludger or similar tool, it could be of some use to you at this point. But I don't have one to hand. Whoa! Okay. I think that's it. So, first thing that strikes me is there's a huge metal lump here. I don't know what that's for. Perhaps that's to balance it. Even in my hands now, it's quite well balanced, so that's an odd one. Didn't expect that. Where are my screws? Let me just get my screws that have stuck themselves to the magnets. There's the one. And there's the second one. Okay, so first observations, we've got this interesting battery spring arrangement here. Getting a lot of weird effects here because of these powerful magnets. They're really causing chaos underneath the unit. Very, very interesting mechanism for these shoulder pads, and you can see what this is actually showing you, that they're analog. So inside there, there'll be a potentiometer or variable resistor, depending on your age, and you can see that that's turning it spring loaded. Very nice. So the top ones, I can hear a click if I hold that to the microphone. You can hear that there's a discernible click there. So all sorts of gaming opportunities there. Something else I've noticed here, there's a plus sign here on the board. You can see that on the light, plus sign, and that's a kind of a plus here. And on this side there's a minus sign, and that's almost a minus sign. Isn't it strange to have that level of detail on these? Maybe it's to stop you putting them in the wrong way around. So let's try to go a bit further here. So I can see right away there that an antenna. That's clearly going to be the Bluetooth antenna. So that aligns with the big window at the front. So that's where the signal. This wasn't infrared. We knew that much anyway. It was going to be Bluetooth, but it's firing out the front effectively. And could be that this big block of metal here was actually acting as maybe even a little bit of a waveguide for that. Right, how do we get this out? I can see 3 screws. Let's just tack those. Again, a lot of torque required. Whoa, okay, I can feel the whole board shifting there. These are the 3 that are holding absolutely everything in. I could do with a magnet on my screwdriver. All right, it's about to jump out. Okay. Small ribbon cable to the touchscreen assembly. What I'm going to do is just unhook that while I can. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing a main PCB and a daughter board right away. See the 2 there. The main PCB houses the digital I/O, the D-pads, and then the daughter port has actually supporting the analogs. It's trying to come apart here. Let's investigate a little bit more. Nothing too interesting to see apart from the Bluetooth module inside there. It appears to be a standalone module. Not sure if it's worth investigating that any further, but well, it's only 2 screws, why not? Let's go for it. Except these screws are very strange. Look, they're very wide and deep head on it. Okay. Right, the moment of truth. I can see there's potentially a connector here between the 2 PCBs, a bit of gunk there. Come on. Hey, okay. Just a very small pin header. You can say that, see that actually just contains all of the, this is like an analog board really. It's got the analog controls and then the analog push buttons. And then this will be the digital board. So I'm going to have a closer look at this module. It's a BCM 20730. For those of you inclined, you can go and Google that. I think it's potentially more than just a Bluetooth module. It might contain the whole programming for this unit. So it might actually, I'm sure it actually takes all of those inputs and translates it into some sort of serial radio communication over the Bluetooth to the unit. And then the other bit of interest is this actual touchscreen module. Well, I say touchscreen, touch area. See if we can get a part number for that. Okay, so you can see the NT3220-26521, and for that chip you'll need some good eyesight. MA32PO3. So that's a neat little module. So I'm just going to put this all back together. I don't think there's anything else worth looking at, and we'll have a look inside the main Ouya unit itself. So I'm just going to jump cut.
non-Ouya device. Okay, so just hold down the U button here and you can see it flashing away. I've got the phone in the Bluetooth discovery mode, so nothing yet. I'm going to keep holding this button down because often on these sorts of
Okay, we're back. You can see I've got the Ouya controller assembled. I've got my phone with me, and I'm trying to see if I can pair the Ouya with a normal telephone. Because I'm pretty sure it's Bluetooth, but you know, I have been known to be wrong many a time. I don't see it coming up, so I've sort of held the button down. You can see the two lights flashing. As is common with sort of Bluetooth devices and pairing modes, you tend to hold these things down. I suspect there's a good chance that it's not Bluetooth, or if it is, certainly not regular. Right, so let's take the battery out again, plop that back in one more time, and then we'll go straight to trying to try to dismantling the actual main unit. So I'm going to hold the button down again, put it into pairing mode. Any day now. Nope. Let's try again. Flashing, flashing, flashing. So, probably not Bluetooth. Some other wireless thing. I could probably just Google it to figure out what this is, but let's just assume it's some other 2.4 gigahertz standard. Right, enough of that.